The problem with learning that you've been lied to is you'll forever wonder what else you've been lied to about. Once trust is shattered, it can never be repaired. When you start peering into the rabbit hole, when you look into it, you realize something profound. The bottom is nowhere to be found. It's becoming apparently obvious that the Uniparty is still in control. MAGA has been co opted. Even when Republicans control both chambers and the presidency, nothing gets accomplished. That is, unless you count sending our money overseas accomplishment. At a federal level, Republicans do no more than drag their feet. It's almost like they say, slow down there, Democrats. If we're going to steal from the American people, we've got to do it legal and right and through the procedure. While the Democrats are lighting the Constitution on fire of process be damned, we get what we want. I feel the only reason that people keep voting Republican is that simple fact. The left opposition is militantly crazy. Look at Minneapolis. The only reason that state is in a state of civil strife is the gargantuan levels of fraud that we've uncovered. Corruption flows all the way from the Leering Center to the governor's mansion. I saw an estimate, I don't know if it's true, I don't know if somebody pulled it out of their ass, that 10% of all spending in the United States, our GDP, is lost due to fraud and waste. What if that number is a magnitude greater than we can even fathom? What if a third, 30% or more of our entire economy was stolen without us realizing? I'm seeing stories on the news of people flying suitcases of money back to Somalia. That money wiring from people on welfare back to their home country. How much of Somalia's economy is based on ripping us off? But when it comes to our country being overrun, us being extracted, used, and abused, both sides are guilty as charged. They just have different methods of displacing our population, keeping our wages low, undermining our way of life. The Democrat one is obvious. They like to bring in mass waves of illegals in our country to gain political power. And that, in turn, keeps artificial wages low. Like the Democrats keep saying, without illegals, who will pick our crops? Who will clean our toilets, do our gardening? You want to do such common tasks? The Republicans, on the other hand, are like, oh no, we do not have enough trained people. We need the best and the brightest. Instead of looking to their citizenry and saying, how can I elevate you? They say, what's the cheapest way to keep the dollars flowing? Keep number on graph go up. CH-1B visa programs. They bring in people in the millions that take the middle and higher level job. And just the same, they keep wages low. To use Indians, for example, when they are brought over and they get in any position of management, they will seek out their own and hire on their own kind. They'll bring their brothers, their cousins, their distant family, anyone in their tribe that isn't you. And these very people they bring in that get on government assistance will vote Democrat. We are being replaced with a tribal society that, frankly, is far easier to rule over. Enough desperate tribe, you can never get them to unite together. And they will never have enough social cohesion and IQ to rule. Look at Minnesota. A Somali lost an election because he was from the wrong tribe. Even people from the same country, the same, what we think society, do not have social cohesion. It is, in my opinion, aside from a few insurgent members of our government, this government is completely screwed at the highest levels. Talking about you, Thomas Massey. Talking about you, Rand Paul. Chip Roy, you get a pass from me. Too many others, go jump in a ditch. I look back on the last 20 years, my entire life growing up, from kindergarten to college graduation, was GWAT, the Global War on Terror. And what was the point? Was that just a farce? If it was meant to go capture, kill bin Laden, you think the war would have started to wind down after we killed him. And where was bin Laden? Pakistan, in their capital, in Islamabad. Our so-called ally in the region was harboring him. 20 years we had war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And what now? We withdrew from Afghanistan, or debauched withdrawal, and handed the country back to the very same people we were fighting. Even worse, we left enough weapons and equipment to ensure the bloodshed will continue at an even more efficient rate. So why did we have the war on terror? September 11th attacks, 2001. We all remember where we were, if we were alive at the time. I was a first grader. I remember that boxy CRTV on the wall and the towers coming down. There is so much to go over about September 11th attacks that would take a series of videos. And men far better than me have covered it. From the Pentagon audit, the dancing Israelis, the bombs in the basement, the stock shorting. It's a freaking mess. Thousands of dead Americans. God knows how many civilians in the Middle East. Trillions in debt. And for what? What did we accomplish from GWAT? Now, turn the clock back a little bit more. I'd like to talk briefly about the actor, Ronald Reagan. Just say no. His war on drugs at home, whereas he funded wars across the globe on the back of cocaine money in the CIA. Iran-Contra. Look it up. Pull the dial back a little more. We go back to the Vietnam War. What was the point of fighting in Vietnam if it was going to be a highly restricted, limited war, but only for one side of the conflict? LBJ restricted operations over North Vietnam. We couldn't bomb the runways. We could not go after Hanoi. We could not do a direct invasion of the North. The communists had no such restrictions. The Ho Chi Minh Trail, Laos, Cambodia, they did what they had to win the conflict. The United States dropped more ordnance in Vietnam than we did in the entirety of the Second World War. That's Europe, that's Japan, that's including the tonnage of the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And why? Well, could it be LBJ's family made money on every single bomb dropped? You have the Karnak ammunition plant in Texas that was directly linked to LBJ's family. It made the precursor explosives for the bombs, the TNT. Was that war just one big profiteering scandal? Go back just a smidgen more. We get to John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK. Why was JFK shot? Was it the mob, the Cubans, the CIA, the KGB, or was it Mossad? It is, in my belief, that he was killed for his desire to subject the Israeli state to nuclear inspections like anybody else. JFK had interesting thoughts when it came to a man in history that had a mustache. JFK is quoted to have said that Adolf Hitler will emerge from the hatred that surrounds him now as one of the most significant figures who've ever lived. Although that in itself, I think, should just be another video. That's all the yelling I want to do for the moment. If anybody watches this, fine. If not, I'm just blowing off steam. God bless. Signing off.